Right, welcome guys. This is literally just dropped. Pretty huge, pretty massive. The senior vice president at Walt Disney Company has admitted to discriminatory hiring practices. Pretty mad. Literally, quote, nobody else is going to tell you this, but they're not considering any white males for the job. This is from Michael Giordano, Vice President of Business Affairs. There's no way we're hiring a white male. Right, okay. Excellent. Let's have a watch, shall we?
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male in this world. They say
Like straight to you? Or okay.
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
According to these videotapes, Disney blatantly discriminates against white men in particular.
Wow.
I think I'm sort of well prepared for it. I'm well positioned for it. But as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male, and that's not who they're looking to promote at the moment.
As a white guy, even Michael has his own doubts about the possibility for advancement for himself at Disney. In fact, Michael actually got to experience Disney's discrimination against white males firsthand.
I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in HR and I have friends in other divisions, and they're like, look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white males for the job. They're just not. That's not what they want.
They even
Literally, just... I like this James O'Keefe guy's good. He's one of the only people that's actually doing journalism at the moment. Like, actual investigative journalism. This is huge. This is huge. We'll just keep watching.
passed over a qualified half-black person for a promotion because they didn't look black enough.
We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, "We're not that's not what's wrong." They wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring
You ain't black enough. Oh my god.
that to the meeting. I mean, it kind of feels like at some point there's going to be a lawsuit. That's kind of how it feels, just because.
You think?
And that is a lawyer talking. So how does Disney explain pushing these discriminatory practices? They use code words and buzzwords.
I'm guessing that there's acceptable code words and buzzwords that are used to explain what they're looking for. They might say something like, look, we're not looking at the usual suspects for this job. So it's not a legally actionable thing. But everybody knows what it means. For writers and actors, you hear all the time, looking to hire writers and actors who bring diversity.
Literally, we said this about bloody Snow Black, Snow Brown, Snow whatever, Snow White. Clearly she was hired for a certain... this is, obvious. This has been obvious for a while, but it's so great that it's been caught on tape.
I'm not looking to bring on any more clients who are white.
This is part one. There's going to be a part two. Holy shit. This is huge, guys. This is huge.
Welcome to the Disney Tapes. My name is James O'Keefe, standing here in Burbank, California, outside Disney corporate headquarters. This is our first part in a series about blatant discrimination and woke policies at the Walt Disney Company. To say that the Disney Company has had a tumultuous 5 years, well, that would be an understatement.
True, yeah. I mean, they've been pursuing this stuff for ages. Wow, man. This stuff is crazy. So here we have it, the diversity, equity, inclusion stuff.
twc.health/OMG and save $45 per kit today when you use code OMG.
We have a diversity, equity, inclusion department who's very involved in setting standards to make sure that our shows have diversity.
Do you think...
Gotta have more blacks. More blacks. We live in such a clown world. Such a clown world.
like Bob has a say in the diversity stuff when they're casting people? Like
100%.
to what
He gives the directive. I mean,
for each show? For each
not that specifically, but like, hey, I want every show to have substantial diversity.
I agree, even as a
Substantial diversity just being more black people. That's all they mean. They don't mean more Chinese. Or Japanese. Right? Or Inuits. Like, it's just more blacks. It's so... What world are we living in?
chief diversity officer. Now, up until recently, that was Latondra Newton, who played a big part in drag.
Remember, we're gonna cut all of the... we're gonna stay out of politics, he said. Fuck, this guy's a clown. Bob Iger's a clown.
Cross thing, like all of HR, there's like that one specific person that kind of like, because I forgot
Good
the
question.
lady's name. She's the head of the.
Oh, I know you're talking about the head of the diversity, yeah.
The African American lady, yeah. So is that like kind of her deciding?
She
that?
oversees a lot of that, for sure.
She's gone now.
But it's pretty broad, I would say. There are other people in HR who are also focused on that.
I would say a relatively large percentage of our top writer creators happen to be women. And a lot of
Just by happenstance.
I mean, like, just like if you say whatever, I don't know, whatever 10 or 15% of the population is gay, I would guess they.
It's not like it's not 10 or 15%. It's much lower than that, isn't it? I'm pretty certain.
30 to 35% of our top writers happen to be, gay, and so I think a lot of them lean into trans stories more than the average straight writer would.
And in an odd twist, you have to be a white Jewish guy to be considered for a C-suite job. More on that next week. But now, let's meet Los Angeles-based Michael Giordano, a white male and Walt Disney's Senior Vice President of Business Affairs.
I do like business affairs, so like negotiations for television.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice. That's really
So
cool.
not really like on the creative side. So it's a lot of it is, like knowing like the guild agreements and the union agreements and everything, like make offers for the writers and the actors who are going to be out working on the show and the producers and the directors and try to get to a place where we can close a deal with them, help the production to budget,
Wow.
kind of strategize that. Everything from how you produce a show.
Yeah.
One, well, actually two of our brave undercover journalist and American Swiper investigative reporters met Michael on the dating app Hinge. And aside from this story, which focused on Disney's overt discrimination against white men, you'll see later on in this report, and it'll be quite entertaining, Michael turns out to be quite the ladies' man.
How long have you been on like dating out?
Not very long. 2.5
Have you been going out with
Not a lot. Not a lot.
anything like worth?
You know what's funny? No.
Let's dig right into Disney's blatant practices of discrimination. If you're
All right,
wondering
let's have
how
a look.
Disney as a company looks at race, gender, and discrimination in the hiring process, about how they recruit and hire talent, look no further.
I think there are times when it's like so front and center. It's like great because that's the focus, Like we have so many shows where we're casting and we're like, yeah, we're not even going to see, certain people for it because we need that particular role.
I've been saying this for ages. Like this is not like groundbreaking news. This is stuff we've all been saying, but now it's just like blatantly out there from the horse's mouth, and this is what's quite a huge deal.
Yeah.
To
So is it intentional that they want they only look for diverse candidates for
At
certain
times.
roles?
Yeah. I think there's certainly a belief that it's just good for society and a big goal. But there's also a belief that, we're going to make more money if we appeal to a wider variety
How's that working out for you, mate?
of people. And it's a good thing. We have shareholders too, And so diversity helps with that.
Diversity helps with financial incentive.
Yeah.
So is it do you think it's more so on that side, or using any good prices gets put to use,
Disney would do
or
it regardless. I think that Disney would
Okay.
do it regardless. But I think that there are even conservative people who may not want to lean into it can easily make the argument that we make more money when we appeal to a wider variety of people, and that means diversity.
Yeah.
There's a real focus on every show. And I'm sure the movies too, though I don't deal with that side of it. So, just making sure that the writers' room has a real, diversity, not just gender or sexual orientation and ethnicity, but making sure that they're hiring some writers who may have certain disabilities where they wouldn't have been hiring before.
Quick, we need some disabled people in here. Quick! Like, what is this? How does that matter to anything?
Since there's kind of a really broad look whenever we're doing that to make sure that everybody gets.
Yeah.
So they talk a big game about DEI, but do they actually do it? Apparently so. They even passed over a qualified half-black person for a promotion because they didn't look black enough.
Yeah.
We had a situation where we wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, "We're not that's not what we want."
You ain't black enough.
They wanted the full.
They wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way.
The full
He
black.
wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting.
And so this is on the
This was on the
corporate side, the business side.
Never understood that. It's because I know, I have a lot of black friends who are not as dark as So do they care about that, or it's
Funny.
the
Funny you ask.
ethnicity actually?
They say they don't care about it, but the truth is, to some extent, they do. If you're mixed, but you don't look black at all, which sometimes happens,
Yeah.
then they're like, oh, I'm not so sure. But if you're mixed and you can tell they're somebody's part black, but they're not that black, so okay, that was still, great.
But apparently Meghan Markle is black enough? You can't make this up.
So would Meghan Markle, who's pretty white,
Right, yeah.
would she be considered
She would still be, yeah.
diverse,
She
or
would, yeah.
or
Huh? As a white guy, even Michael has his own doubts about the possibility for advancement for himself at Disney, saying, quote, "As far as Disney is concerned, I'm a white male."
Right now, I'm a half step below a true department head. I have a team under me, but I don't oversee a whole department. And I'd like to oversee a whole department, whether that's at Disney or having to lead. So.
Okay. Do you think that you'll have the opportunity at Disney?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
I'm black enough.
I think I'm sort of well prepared for it. I'm well positioned for it. But as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male, and that's not who they're looking to promote at the moment. Jobs intern, I'm not considered. But
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male this role.
There's no way I can't watch any more of this. Wow. But I can't watch much more of it anyway because I think James O'Keefe will copyright claim it. But that's mad. Holy shit. Again, not new. We knew this. But yeah, just to hear it. We're not hiring white males. Okay, just discrimination. Great. Thoughts? Leave them down below.